Hey guys, welcome back to Contest Prep University. I'm Joe Klemczewski with Adam Atkinson. We are in episode 2 in our Contest Day Management series. And Adam, we left off, we were talking about how to make sure that you are setting the stage on contest day to hopefully be exactly where you want, but sometimes that doesn't happen. And so we need to know how to troubleshoot throughout the day. And you and I both agreed that being as tight as you can possibly be, even bordering on a little bit too flat, is probably the best miss on contest morning, or the best starting point. So what if it really was a bit of a miss and they're just flatter than we thought? I've had clients, we're moving along, their carbohydrates are even going up on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We're doing a nice progressive linear load. I'm working to maintain or build their fullness, so glycogen stores should be increasing. But even with all of that upward movement, sometimes they wake up and they've lost 2 pounds. I'm like, oh my gosh, now they're really flat. Even with everything we've done right, we just underestimated how much metabolic activity they may be going through, the stress, the travel. So if somebody wakes up flatter than you wanted, what would your first move be?
Yeah, basically, I would have them get some food in right away. Chances are they're not going to assimilate it, but I might even add more salt to that food just so they can absorb more water into the muscle tissue. So starting to swing sodium, but you've got to love your ectomorphs that wake up like that. That can be really difficult. Typically, you're always raising carbs towards the end of their peak week, maybe even giving them a lot more than you thought. And like you said, sometimes you get people with those runaway metabolisms that just keep waking up tighter and tighter. And your best bet on show day is food and water. It's going to be sodium and water, getting that into the muscle tissue and just getting them as full as possible. Mm-hmm. So you might be able to catch a bigger breakfast, but it's probably not going to do much for them to assimilate that into the muscle tissue.
Yeah, I will say, just as a little caveat before we continue this is one learning experience where I know if I have an ectomorphic client, I may need to get more aggressive than I had planned. And I've got a pro title winning client right now getting ready for a show in a month. And I've seen this happen before, exactly as we're describing. So right now she's in that hunt mode where she just wants to be leaner and tighter. And I've had to beg her for 2 weeks. No, listen, we've got to start increasing food now. We cannot wait for next week or the next week or peak week. We've got to start this push now, because I know as an ectomorph, she's going to risk getting too thin. So that's even something that I sometimes have to roll the dice on during peak week, is that last day or two when I still want to be a little conservative. I just know we're going to be burning through too much glycogen, and I've got to give them a little bit more at the end of the week. So hopefully you've got enough glycogen base there. And then like you said, Adam, it can be just a patience game, just knowing, okay, you got 3 hours or so till stage, maybe 4, maybe 5. And so let's get that first meal in. Let's increase sodium a little bit, add some water. So what if you're still behind and you're really chasing that up to the stage? Now it's almost, pump up time. They're still a little bit flat. We're not worried about spillover. What would your next move be?
Yeah, I would still chase some more salt up and chase more water up if they can. And a lot of times people, they'll get kind of stuffed on water, so to speak, but you just have to explain to them any extra that they drink, they're just going to urinate out. So still pushing that sodium and water up. I might have them start pump up a little bit early so we can just kind of see that fullness come about from pump up, making sure they can get a pump. But at this point in the game, we've had a lot of sodium, so I would expect that they would be able to. But I think it's always good to test that pump out up a few minutes before they actually need to pump up to make sure everything starts flowing and transitioning well.
Perfect. And I remember, again, this happened to me at the IFBB Australian Championships, where I had the lightweight winner and the heavyweight winner both in the overall. And my lightweight was in that position where he just wasn't getting full enough. We were pumping up. He wasn't getting that kind of fullness that he needed. So he chugged, I kid you not, an entire gallon of water while he was pumping up. And when he was on stage, he looked as big and as tight as my heavyweight. And so for a guy who we didn't have time for more food, we had to go to water, and it was just enough time pumping up, warming up. You're posing on stage for a while. And that's why sodium and water can give you the most immediate impact. So thank you, Adam, for that. And we're going to roll into some more kind of catastrophe scenarios and how to rectify those as we continue this series. Thanks, guys.